Let's try making some orange chicken. This is Adam Ragusea's recent recipe for orange chicken, and it seemed interesting to me because he doesn't deep fry it, and he just kind of fries it in a small amount of oil and covers all the chicken with cornstarch. And he claims that it's like 90% of the way there towards, like mall, like food court style orange chicken. So we're gonna try it and see how it is. These are boneless, skinless breasts. These aren't too bad, but I'm gonna just trim up a little bit of the fat off of these. You don't have to. And we're gonna start by making some rice. This is going to be, if I have enough. Yeah, probably. This is what's left of some medium grain Calrose rice that I tend to like. Yep, pretty much exactly 1.5 cups, which is what they recommend. There's a million ways to wash rice. There's reasons to not wash rice. There's reasons to wash rice. This is just what I do. First is just a little bit in there, and then kind of get it directly out. Just for that quick initial first rinse. And then you give it a full soak. And you go in there basically like with a claw type hand. You don't want to like jab down into the rice grains, but you just want to agitate them with the sides of your fingers. Again, I don't know if this is traditional. I don't know if this is good or bad or whatever. It's just it's just what I do, and it's what works for me. The traditions of cooking rice are probably like the most contentious thing maybe in the entire world of cooking. So I don't even know why I'm showing myself cooking rice, but here we are. And then we just rinse without agitating a couple times. Some people swear by, 3 times. Some people swear by more. I just do it until the water's pretty clear. Again, you don't have to like go crazy with this. You just want to do it until it's mostly clear, until you can see through it decently. That's 3 times, and honestly, that's pretty good for me. Maybe I'll give it once more. Let's go with 4. 4 sounds good. Oops. And yes, I am losing brains. I'm not a professional rice maker. Then we are going to soak the rice. And I think this part is, honestly, in my opinion, more important than rinsing. You get better results from soaking most rices. You don't have to do it for all of them, but for short or medium grain, I think you basically do. It just comes out a lot better. Oh yeah, by the way, I'm doing this in a pot. I have a rice cooker. It is a shitty one. It's a dumb rice cooker. It's not very smart. It's just this little Black & Decker thing that has on and off. It works fine for long grain rices. In fact, it works quite good, especially for something like basmati. More temperamental grains, like medium or short, not so great. I've had not so great results. 2 cups. That's what it's going to cook in, and that's what it's going to soak in. And of course, my fridge has stopped making water. Whoa. One. A little less than 1. 2 cups. 1, 2, not 3. Then I strain the rice just to try to, if there's a sufficient amount of water left, I just strain it. This one's not bad. Not bad at all. You really don't want to. I see a lot of people that put their rice in strainers and really agitate it strongly while they're rinsing in the strainer, and that is, again, in my experience, not great for short grain. It can break them. It can break them pretty easily. And all of this is moot if you have a good rice cooker. If you have like a what are they called? Zojirashi? The ones that are all fancy and have a bunch of settings and all that stuff. I'm sure those make excellent Calrose or Koshikari rice, but mine doesn't. And that's it. You're gonna let it soak for some amount of time. This brand recommends, what is it, 15 minutes? So that's what I'm going to do. I've seen people talk about how they soak it for hours, and it comes out even better. So you do you. Okay, Google. Set a timer for 15 minutes. Did I just set off a bunch of people's phones? I hope I did. Even if you have a tight-fitting lid, I tend to find that it doesn't fit as snugly as I want to. I want like really, really, really snug. You know, if you watch like people who cook short grain rice professionally, like sushi masters and stuff. I think this was in a Jiro Dreams of Sushi. They mentioned how much pressure they put on top of their rice cooking vessel, and it's like they basically try to get as much as possible. They want to basically pressure cook the rice. And again, for long grains, in my experience, not as important. For short grains, it is. They're just more temperamental. So I wrap. I do a bad job at wrapping a towel around it. I just pull the corners of the towel up through here. I don't really find you even need to tie a knot, but you can tie a knot if you want to. You just put them all through. Pull them pretty snugly, and you're good. Just make sure the towel's clean, obviously. And then when this cooks, this is going to sit in here a lot more snugly. And if this boils up, if some of the starch bubbles up and threatens to kind of pour over out of the pot, it will be caught by this. And this being a video, of course, this will be the one time out of 20 when the water boils over and I have some kind of horrific, starch accident. So yeah, we're just gonna cut this up kind of into semi-random chunks. So these look good to me. The next thing that is supposed to occur to the chicken is that you cover it in like a lot of cornstarch. Like enough to basically make it look like it was dredged. I'm not going to do that right now. I'm going to wait because I think that if you cover it in cornstarch right now and like wait a while, it's going to get really gummy and goopy. So we're just going to put these aside for now and work on broccoli. We're going to cut up this dirty little brassica into just kind of some florets, I think is how he goes about it. That's typically how I cook broccoli. Don't throw away the stem, by the way. I'll save this, shave it down, and use it for something in the future. Is that enough? Is that enough broccoli? Looks like not a lot of broccoli. I have more broccoli. I was kind of thinking about using half of it instead of the whole thing, because these are also quite large. Let's do one more. Let's do one more of these. And we'll save the stems of both. well, I'm doing rice as well. Actually, never mind. I'm not gonna do that. Edit this part out. Editor me. Fuck the broccoli. So then he does some prep later on. He zests an orange later on. He cuts up some garlic and ginger later on. I'm going to do that now, just because I am making rice for this. He is not, or he did not. So I got to wait for that stuff to cook. We're going to zest this orange with a zester, with a rasp. Good enough. We're gonna let that chill out. Just gonna rub that into my hands. And my hands smell like orange. And then he juices it later as well. I'm just gonna cut it for now. Put it aside. He does some garlic. I don't remember how much, so we're gonna do 4 cloves, 5 cloves, something like that. Hey, 15-minute timer is up. So we're going to cook the rice. This one wants you to boil for 20 minutes or until all of the moisture is absorbed. So we're going to do that. I set this to, you know, medium high-ish. Keep it on for now. We're going to peek. We're going to peek in a little bit to see if we're at a soft boil. And then we're going to bring down the heat all the way and we're just going to let it cook. We're going to let it steam for 20 minutes. And then we're going to let it rest for probably another 10. Okay, it's been a couple minutes and I'm going to turn this on low. On this burner, the low setting is just called low. Who knows how hot that is? I'm guessing a little lower than medium, and probably a little higher than off, but you know, that's just a speculation. Oh, I had some corn the other day, and I don't know what to do with it. Maybe corn chowder? Upcoming video, corn chowder. Oh my God, is he gonna make corn chowder? All right, time's up on the rice. So we're turning it off. We are pulling it off the heat, and we are not going to look in there. We're not even going to think about it for 10 minutes. Alexa, set a timer for 10 minutes.
10 minutes, starting now.
Okay. Okay, while that sits, I am going to actually start cooking the main dish. And he starts with a ripping hot pan that you're going to steam some of the broccoli in, and then you're going to take it out and shock it with some water. I'm also going to coat the chicken in the cornstarch now. So he said basically to just use enough that it makes it so it's not wet anymore. There were no measurements in the recipe, by the way. I think it was supposed to be kind of a real simple thing. Seems like quite a lot to me. Oh, by the way, I hate touching cornstarch. That kind of like squeaky. Ugh. That squeakiness. I hate it. I hate it so much. Ugh. 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 Oh, I think I may never make this recipe again just because I hate that sensation. I know that's weird. It's a weird thing. I got just makes me ill. Oh, once more into the breach, dear friends. Oh, I hate this feeling. I don't know why. I don't know why I hate that feeling so much. It's the squeaky. Ugh, I don't even like touching my hands together. Thank God that's over. All right, that was a little bit of a mess, but we can clean that up in between steps. Let's give the heat of this pan a little test. Seems pretty hot. Yep. Probably even turn that down a little bit. Broccoli goes in. So does some water. And then he covers it with some aluminum foil. Just kind of vaguely. I can already tell that's going to need some more water. And then this goes for like 5 minutes, basically. That gets very hot very fast. I might suggest I might suggest doing something different, like using a lid. Yeah, that probably needs more. There she goes. Oh, there it goes. Okay, Alexa, that's enough. Okay, Alexa, shut the fuck up, please. Alexa. Okay. What the hell? Alexa, stop playing the timer. I hate arguing with robots. Okay, so, whoops. So, the rice has been steaming, or resting rather, for 10 minutes. Let's see how we're doing here. We're doing pretty dang well. So I'm just going to use some chopsticks to fluff it a bit. Let's give it a try. Good, sticky, but still individual in its grain. So we're just going to leave the lid on, and she's done. It'll stay warm for a while. Yep. That might could use a few more seconds. The one thing that I can never find is broccoli rabe. There's so many recipes online that have goddamn broccoli rabe. And I am pretty convinced that it is not a real vegetable. It does not actually exist. I feel the same way about banana splits. It is I have a theory. I'm not, I'm not big into conspiracy stuff. I have a couple pet conspiracies though. One is that no one's ever eaten a banana split, and if they say they have, then I don't know, they're working for the CIA or some shit. The other is that broccoli rabe, not a real vegetable. Doesn't actually exist. It's something that gets shipped to food YouTubers and recipe developers so that we can all pretend that there's this magical vegetable called broccoli rabe, but I've never seen it at a store personally. I'm just kidding, by the way. Although I really can't find it. Like, I know I don't live directly in a major city. I live outside of a pretty big city. So maybe it's just something that dying city folk can find. That broccoli's probably good. Yeah, that's about as good as I want it, and this stuff is going to cook some more in the sauce later. So in she goes to the bowl. And then he shocks it with cold water. And then says let it sit in the water until you're ready to use it later on. Again, this is not great. I would try to think of something else besides the tin foil. Yeah, that's pretty dang hot. Might be too hot. He's using avocado oil. I'm using canola. And there's still some residual broccoli in there that I didn't notice. He seemed to use quite a lot. Kind of, I guess I wouldn't call this shallow frying, but mini frying, micro frying. All right, and then we pick up the chicken and place it in there. Oop! Chicken on the floor. Don't tell anybody about the floor chicken. It's between us. And we're getting rid of all of this awful feeling cornstarch. Thank God. Praise Allah. And then he says to let it sit for like a while, basically to form a crust on the bottom. And again, because this is chicken thighs, you're not in danger of really cooking these to death the way that you would with breasts. Now I'm going to cut the garlic. All right, I cleaned the knife. I showed my friend the first video that I made, and he said something along the lines of, oh, dudes cutting garlic on YouTube, that's my favorite genre. Guess there are a lot of us. So I'm going to see if these are ready to be moved yet. See if they're stuck or not, and they're not. They're actually pretty mobile as far as dead chicken goes. And then he says to kind of just like stir fry it, kind of get it moving around. Poking and prodding, moving, shucking and jiving. And you just cook it like this for a while. I think he said like more than 8 minutes. So yeah. I will say, like most shallow frying things, this is making a mess. You know, as much as people, there are downsides to deep frying in a home kitchen. You know, you gotta get a bunch of oil very hot. If you're not careful, if you're, you know, scared, the oil can sense your fear. You might burn yourself or start a fire. If you're safe, a lot of those things are not going to happen, most likely. If the thing you dislike is cleaning up stovetops, then full fat frying is going to cause less mess than something like this. Developing a bit more crust, but I guess that's kind of as far as I'm going to take it. It doesn't have a full coating on it. It's not deep fried, so you're only going to get so far with this, basically. And I think that's kind of the point. In go the aromatics. I think. Right? Yeah. And that's sticking pretty much immediately, so I'm going to go to the next step immediately, which is to deglaze with the soy. He seemed to use about a quarter cup or thereabouts. Rice vinegar, same amount, and then a squozen orange. demolished, ruined, wrecked. Orange flesh everywhere. And I'm scraping up pretty hard. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of cornstarch residue that kind of burnt onto the bottom there. Which, you know, maybe that's kind of the point. That's kind of the thickener here. This is definitely going to need some more liquid. He doesn't add water to his, but I definitely know it's going to need some. And the sugar. Yeah, so he adds about a 1/4 cup of sugar. It is orange chicken after all. It is basically sugar sauce. I'm gonna go a little conservative with the sugar. A full 1/4 cup seems like probably more sugar than I want. Oh, right. That's why he doesn't put water in it, because there's water in the broccoli. In that case, I'm going to strain the broccoli. It's going to go in. His version has a lot more broccoli, but it also doesn't have rice. It's kind of the reason he put the broccoli in it. It's because he didn't want to make like a carb low meal. And you know, sometimes I'm feeling that too. But not today. Today, the starches win again. All right. Looks pretty simple. It is pretty simple. So, whoops. All right, let's give it a try. He's not lying. It is like, I don't know if I'd say 90% of the way there. But 85, 80 maybe. The thing is, it doesn't taste like good orange chicken. It tastes like mall food court orange chicken, which is to say fried and then usually let to sit in sauce for so long that it gets that kind of soggy sliminess. But that is what it tastes like. I would say that if you're averse to deep frying, you really got a hankering for orange chicken, and you don't want to eat Panda Express for one reason or the other. I'm sure there's a lot of reasons. But yeah, I'd recommend this. I might make this again. It is pretty simple, although it is a little dirty. That kind of shallow frying, the micro frying or whatever I called it earlier, it tends to get a lot of splatter, like a lot of splatter around the pan. And so, you know, if you don't mind cleaning that up a little bit, I'd recommend it. You know, 8.5 out of 10. See you later.